skin difference was called albinism when I was in primary school. Yeah, I think, yes, when I was in primary school, because I started to meet people that had understanding about it. My parents started to find out more, and yeah, that's it.
I found out that my skin difference is called albinism when I was in primary school. I figured it out from my friends in primary school when they started asking questions like, oh, why are you fair? And then I went to my mother and was like, Mommy, why am I fair? And she had to sit me down and give me a long lecture.
Well, I found out that my skin difference is called albinism very early on. Maybe I would say around the ending of my nursery school and beginning of my primary school. I noticed that kids would come around, ask me questions that I wouldn't understand at the time, and I'd ask my mom, like, Mom, why are they asking me these questions? Like, I don't understand. And she would sit me down and tell me that I was different from other kids, and I didn't notice it because, well, I was young. I was different, and at that time, when that realization struck that I was different, it was a bit burdensome. I had to consider a lot of things going under the sun. I couldn't play like how I used to. I couldn't do a lot of things. So that's when.
The most ridiculous questions I've been asked as an albino is, I guess, why, when I cut you, will you bleed in white? Or can I cut you so you bleed in white?
Well, if we're to delve into that area, the most ridiculous question I've been asked is if when I excreted it was white, like if my feces were white. And when I was asked the question, I was very, very taken aback.
The biggest challenges I've faced as an albino, well, generally speaking, the challenges I've faced are, I'll classify them as physical and social. So, of course, there's one of protecting my skin, keeping myself away from sunburns, accepting that there are some things I just wasn't able to do, for example, running and athletics and stuff. But also, my sight, like having to wear glasses for as long as I can remember. And that's part of some of the challenges. Also, another thing I've had to deal with is, self-esteem issues, accepting that not everybody would understand, and then deciding to make the most of the situation, like do my very best in the other things I choose to do. For example, I love to write, and so I devoted a lot of time to growing my writing abilities over the years. So that's part of how I overcame some of these self-esteem issues. And also, one of the things that have helped me so far is discovering sunscreen, using umbrella, using protective clothing, and also finding photochrome glasses.
I have been able to overcome this challenge by figuring out that I am different. They are not wrong, but at the same time, I use my difference to make myself be at an advantage. I make sure it doesn't bring me down as a person. I find ways to, if I can't fix the problem, I go around it. So I just try my best to make myself happy in any way, form I can. Yeah.
I believe that society can help albinos if we look at the fact that they are individuals. If every member of the society has an understanding or begins to, understand that albinos are actually humans too, and people begin to empathize more and realize that this is a biological condition, it doesn't mean they are less than others.
My perception about albinism is we are human beings. For me, we are blacks that blacks see as whites. So we should make that to our advantage. And we should never forget that we are special in every way and form.
My perception about albinism stems from an understanding that I am a unique part of the world right now. Because I am a Christian, so I believe that there has to be a divine purpose for my existence, for my living. And I see albinism as a unique way of contributing, a unique way that God came up with to contribute to the world we live in. That the abilities, the different, physiological and psychological components of being an albino just adds to the spice and variety that exists in the world. So it doesn't mean I'm less than others. It doesn't mean I have to, go over and beyond to prove myself and all that. It just means I have the opportunity to contribute as a special breed, yes, to the society.
Wear sunscreen.
Well, my message to Albinos is that I know it's hard and I know it's tough, that it's not easy being one. But nonetheless, you can take time to sulk, but also take time to develop yourself. The time that you can't go under the sun, the time that you can't play with the people that you want to play with, or you can't interact with your mates, take that time to develop yourself. Become somebody that people will look up to, that people will look for. Because in your weakness, there's also strength.
If I could talk to all the Albinos in the world, I would tell them that you are special. God created you to be special. You are white. Your skin color is not a disadvantage. Your skin color can be used for greatness. You are one in a million. Just remember, you are special.
My message to Albinos is that they should embrace the fact that they are different. There's next to nothing you can do about it. I would even advise you to do plastic surgery. It's too costly. It's not necessary. So accept that you are different. That's the first thing. When you accept that you're different, you need to understand that difference does not mean bad. It doesn't mean that you are bad. It doesn't mean that you are inferior. It just means that there are some things you may not be able to do or to do as well as others. I remember a time in my life when I had to learn to sit away from the TV. I had to learn to wear my glasses often. There was a time I was scared I would never be able to type, but I'm grateful I've overcome many of these things. Just accept your difference and then work at developing your abilities. Try to help people understand what you go through, and it's okay if they choose not to understand. Just be your most empathetic self and be able to just move along with others. Find people that will understand and be ready to be your friends, and just live a good life, live a happy life, understanding that God is your creator, you're responsible to him, your life is his, and of course you're reporting to him at the end of the day. Thanks for having me. My name is Bimsala Oluwashino. Happy International Albinism Awareness Day.
International Albinism Awareness Day 2023. Inclusion is strength. Woo!